For those of you who don't know me, my name is James, but I also go by Big James. I grew up in New Zealand, but I've been living over here in Brazil for the best part of a decade now. And I had a idea recently when I went down under to New Zealand. A lot of people asked me, what is life actually like in Brazil on a day-to-day basis? And I kind of thought there's really not a lot of material in English. Probably there is in Portuguese, but in English of foreigners living here in Brazil, detailing their day-to-day life or whatever it is that they do. And so it's probably a bit of a niche subject. Like, how does a foreigner actually sit down and go about his or her daily business, and actually what do they do in their downtime as well? And so hence the idea to start a YouTube channel was born. I'm also thinking about documenting my travels through South America, and particularly, well, through the Americas actually, and into the US, where I travel a lot. In my adult life, I've basically only really played poker for a living, but these days I'm more accustomed to making investments here in Brazil, whether that was buying property and then selling it after, or just investing in stocks, bonds, government actions, and things like that. So I guess I'm going to have two channels. Like a lot of people that I know that I've met recently on my travels, they also do the same thing. So let's see how that works out. This channel is going to be called Big James BR, and it's going to document all my daily kind of activities. For example, today I'm going to go to a Palmeiras game, which is the team that I support over here in Brazil. What's the reason for that? There's not really a whole lot, but when I was younger, I tended to follow them because they had a lot of players that were in the Brazil national team at the time in the early 90s. And in my country on ESPN International, they had a lot of games going on. You can hear a helicopter maybe in the background passing over right now. That's pretty normal here. I'm living in Sao Paulo, so that's the biggest city actually in the Southern Hemisphere. Quite a change from where I grew up in New Zealand, which is a small city called Tauranga. What else? Let's see. So I guess I'm gonna sign off for now. I'll be back later showing the route to the stadium, like how I get there, which will be a pretty normal. Usually the games will be midweek like this one, or a weekend game, which will usually be the Brazilian Championship. Palmeiras is doing well this season actually. They are leading the Brazilian Championship, almost qualified for the knockout phase of this continental competition, which is called Libertadores. And so the hope tonight is that becomes a reality, a simple win will get the job done. So I guess tonight will be around 35 to 40,000 at the stadium. It's just up the road from where I live here. What else? I think that's all for now. I will catch up with you guys a bit later on. Why am I showing you guys a box with a bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label and 4 glasses inside of it? Well, this year I decided to make some changes in my life and move out of the apartment where I've been living for the last 5 years or so to a brand new apartment that is just over the other side of the park where I live, but has the potential to be a more productive space for me to go about my day-to-day activities. And here in Brazil, when you buy a new apartment from the developer, they always give you some kind of present. So that's what this present is. I'm not sure when I'm gonna get started on this, but maybe when I get moved into the new apartment. I have a deadline of the end of August where I have to actually be there. So, well, that sort of looks a bit ominous, doesn't it? I'm coming up to around about just before 6 o'clock local time in the evening. The game starts in, what is it now? Almost 4 hours. But I'm gonna grab something to eat beforehand in the shopping mall that I usually go to most days of the week. Gosh, it really does look a bit ominous. However, the weather doesn't really come from that direction. It comes from behind, from over these ways. This is the neighborhood where I live here in Sao Paulo. There's a lot of construction going on right now. Over this side of the park that I'm heading towards, it's actually where I'll be living in a few months' time. So that is one of the big projects underway in my life. Once that's taken care of, I will probably be making a bit more content for the second channel. And here we are. This is the famous shopping mall. And this is generally where I will have my lunch, or in case of a night like tonight where I have something to do, I will have my dinner. This is the Outback, which is a very popular place for the Palmeiras fans to arrive before the games. The calm before the storm. You can see off in the distance this bizarre situation, I find it bizarre anyway, where there's a group of people that actually check if you have a ticket to the game. So, not sure what happens if you don't, but they're actually very strict about it. And it's weird because here in Brazil, usually people are not strict about almost anything. So it's kind of a strange situation, at least I think it is, to encounter this sort of, you see guys over here like asking if you have tickets and things, which also is bizarre because the stadium has facial recognition technology for everyone that goes to the game. Alright, I made it in. You can see this is the neighborhood around the stadium. This is actually a basketball court. Have no idea who's playing. I think this group of people with the drums will be one of the main fan clubs, if you want to call them that, of the team. So you can see some other fan clubs like this one here on the corner. This is the actual entrance to the club. But generally here in Brazil, we have people selling things on the side of the road or food. Just hanging out before the game. Taking a drink or two or three in some cases. What else? This is also something I find very hilarious here in Brazil, is people doing barbecues on the side of the road before games. I'm actually really early. You can see, swing over to the stadium side. There's a bunch of people that are trying to get in, but it's not even 7:15 local time. So the gates will open. There's another group of people over here. They only open 2 hours before the game starts. Like, there's no police or anything. You can see there's a few people. Let me just get out of this music so you can hear it better. So yeah, that's the opening of the south side, Go Sul, which is the south side of the stadium. Looks like there might be another content creator in front of me, so he's probably doing some kind of collaboration as well. So yeah, and here we go. We are free to enter with this amazing Palmeiras music in the background. Pretty funny. So you can see over, let's zoom in a little, over there, a number of people gathering for pre-match drinks. But my destination is right over here. And I go. Right, I've made it in here nice and early. As you can see in the background, I got this fairly well scented. Palmeiras is playing a team from Paraguay called Cerro Porteño. So I've actually been to a couple of games at their stadium in Paraguay, although this year in the first fixture away I didn't go. But of course tonight, with the game being at home, I'm here as always. It's my 294th game of Palmeiras that I've seen, but around 50 of those have actually been in other stadiums around Brazil or around the continent of South America. Nice and early as always. I like to be early at events. It's kind of a tradition, I guess, of foreigners here in Brazil. There were a few foreigners that were coming to the games from time to time in past seasons, but I haven't seen them lately. Maybe it's because of all the facial recognition stuff. It's kind of hard to get tickets to see Palmeiras these days. So yeah, I saw when I was checking before, I kind of knew this already, but from 2016 to this year, 2026, Palmeiras has been in every single Libertadores. So that's 11 straight participations. That's actually a record for a Brazilian club. It's quite impressive. I don't remember what the total number of participations is, but it's north of 20 now for Palmeiras in this competition. So that's also a record here in Brazil. And so yeah, the expectation is that Palmeiras will most likely win this game and guarantee their qualification for the next phase, the knockout phase of this competition. And other than that, I think that the situation here in Brazil, like if you're looking to come to a game, depends on the standing of the game. Like if it's a game where two rival teams are playing, this situation can be a little bit dicey for security. Here in Sao Paulo, when two rival teams play, they actually do not have supporters from the away team. That's been the way since about 2014, I believe. It's been a long time since away fans were allowed in the stadium. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Yeah. Alright, we have the teams warming up. Palmeiras in this mixture of green, purple, and red bibs, if you like. And the visiting team from Paraguay in the red bibs off into the distance. So here at the stadium, the fans in the other goal opposite where I am, be your like real hardcore fans and more, I don't know if we'll call them social fans because it's not really the right word to use for fans here in Brazil, but more relaxed fans in the hardcore sense at this end of the ground and obviously off to the sides. We're about 25 minutes from kickoff now. You can hear the theme song for this competition in the background as well. Everyone's expecting a win. Look at this ball right up next to us here. There's another one that sailed off in the distance. They're supposed to be putting the ball in the back of the net, but some of the balls are making their way up as high as maybe about 10 or 15 rows up from the goal here. There you go. You won't even be able to hear me, but in the background you can hear like the theme song of the club being sung passionately by the supporters here as the game's about to start.